Hello and welcome to the very first episode of my new series, Past Expiration. This is where I'm going to be doing reviews of things that are probably a little bit older than the stuff you'd be expecting to see in some sort of review show. And I'm mostly just going to be talking about it, my thoughts, did I like it, what didn't I like, that sort of thing. I'll do my best to, despite it being Past Expiration, I'll do my best to avoid spoilers. Because I hate those with a passion. So I'm going to try. And so for our first episode, we're going to be doing a show that is actually somewhat new. It was produced and released in April 2011, but it was originally created as a manga in 2006. Now, this show is known as Highschool of the Dead, which is not what I expected. So, it was written, the manga, by Daisuke Sato and Shoji Sato, and it was produced as an anime by Madhouse Studio. So the basic plot. The Earth is taken over by a zombie pandemic. There are zombies all over the planet. Everywhere you look, everywhere you go, no place is safe. So we start our story in a quaint little Japanese high school, which fortunately is surrounded by a gate. Unfortunately, we see our first zombie shambling up to it, and he ends up chomping on the arm of, I think, an angry gym teacher who is trying to shoo him away from the school. Once inside, the zombified high school teacher, who went from bite to zombie remarkably quickly, mind you, starts chewing on his cohorts, and pretty soon the entire faculty room and a lot of the students have been converted. Lovely. Now, our main characters start off in several different groups, and depending on where they end up equipped differently. We have 3 characters who run up to the roof and end up with some cleaning supplies, like a beaten up broom. We have a few who end up running around and reach a shop class, where one character ends up building a nail gun. And then we have a student who is armed with their very own bokken, or wooden sword, which they use to great effect against the zombie horde. So after we go through a little bit of exposition, find out a tiny bit about who these characters are, they all get shoved together. They're all students except for the 26-year-old temporary substitute incredibly ditzy nurse, who acts as designated driver. They steal a school bus, and after picking up another teacher and some of his cultish students, they flee from the zombie pain and death at the school. They decide that they're going to head toward the main character's house to see whether his family's okay and everyone else's. I don't really recall why they chose that particular house. I don't think they had a good reason to choose any house over another one. But that was their master plan. Instead of camping out where they were going to run out of food or become food, they decided to go out into the open where there were countless more zombies. Okay. And then, another important thing about the characters is that almost everybody's got some sort of combat training. Main character, not so much. She can wield a baseball bat or whatever. There's someone who's been taking kendo for what seems like all their lives. One of the girls has been doing sojutsu or spear class. Everybody's got some sort of talent. If not, I guess it wouldn't be much of a show because they'd all be dead. Well, let's move on. So, characters. There are about 6 main characters in the show, a few more, a few less. There's a couple other characters who come in who aren't that important, a few come in and just get chomped so you don't really care at all. And the main character of the show, the one who almost everything seems to revolve around, is Takashi Komuno. He's just a regular dude. He comes off as being not a delinquent student, but he's not a straight A guy. He doesn't go to all his classes. He takes off when he feels like. It seems like they're trying to make him not a generic character, but somebody that everybody can relate to, so everyone can see themselves as him. And a lot of it just kind of makes him come off as an indecisive lout. He can't choose between some of the other characters in the show, so you can picture them getting frustrated at him little bit by little bit, but they all seem to like him anyway. He's not self-serving. He is willing to sacrifice himself for those he cares about. He's not a bad guy. It's just that he doesn't always make the best decisions. Then one of his high school friends, who's been a friend of his since he was a little kid, is Rei Miyamoto, who's been studying sojutsu, or the art of using spears, and she starts off with him and another friend of theirs on the roof. The other friend is someone she's actually been dating, whose name is Hisashi, who's Takashi's best friend. And he's got silver hair, and this guy's like awesome. He's athletic, he can fight, he does all sorts of crazy stuff, and all around just a really cool guy. Now, one last thing about Rei Miyamoto is that she's got long brownish red hair, and it seems like they're going for the typical anime stereotypes here. Main character, regular dude with black hair. She's got the orange, reddish, brown hair that they like to throw around on main characters. You know, kind of like if you've seen Bleach, a little bit like Orihime. And then Hisashi's got the silver hair, shortish silver hair. Then we move on to Saya Takagi, who's the little girl of the show. She's not young, but she's really short, has pink pigtails, which makes her look younger, and she's pretty angry all the time. She's the smart girl character who they throw in all the time. She reminds me a little bit of Washu from Tenchi Muyo, a little bit. And she's also a little bit angry, and when she's thinking of something mischievous, she's got one little fang right there, like a cat. She's a really smart character, and is somewhat convinced of her own intelligence. So, next we have Kota Hirono, and he's a nerd. He's overweight, has funny looking hair, he has glasses, and he is displayed as being completely worthless for a good portion of the show. He was put in there, maybe for the other characters to make fun of, or as a non-threatening other male character to not draw too much attention away from the main character, Takashi. Now this guy's not bad. He's kind of cowardly and kind of wussy at first, but he comes into his own. You'll see. And then, as long as we're going with anime stereotypical women, we have Saeko Busujima. If you've seen X, picture Arashi. She's in the kendo club. She is incredibly skilled at using a bokken. She's calm, quiet, collective, useful in a crisis. Basically, yeah, if you've seen Camphor, she's the student body club president. It's the same character you've seen a million times over. There's a few differences, but the same basic template. She's got long black hair, wields a sword. You've seen it before. Then there's one more character really worth mentioning. This is Shizuka Marikawa, or as my friends and I called her, Boob Nurse. She is secondary to her chest. Her chest is all over the show, all over the place. It's a little excessive if you ask me. They kind of went over the top here, and we'll get back to that later. So as for the themes of the show, there's a few. Number one, I'm sorry, is this a harem show? At first I thought this was going to be an action show. I mean, they're showing zombies everywhere, they're fighting, people are killing people, there's blood, there's gore, everyone's getting splattered with guts. And then I realized that there's one male main character, and then 4 or 5 females, and then the only other male is portrayed as a weakling nerd. This is pretty much a harem show. You've got all the basic archetypes of the harem women. You've got the calm and collected long-haired girl who usually wields a katana, the short, smart, and somewhat temperamental pink-haired girl. You've got the friend from olden times, brown-haired girl. They also threw in the kind of chesty, ditzy, big blonde woman who's older than everybody, but what you gonna do? So apparently it's a harem show in disguise, and you could swear that Entenmann's exploded because there's cheesecake everywhere in this show. They just can't stop in the middle of fights, everywhere. And another theme is don't give up. I mean, they set themselves a goal. Go to Takashi's house. That's where they're going. That is their aim. Things are hopeless, but they don't give up. Even when the party gets separated, they don't give up. They keep trying. And that's kind of nice, you know, nice little lesson between the cleavage shots. Then there's another one which is basically, there's good people in the world, there's bad people in the world, then there's just regular old people. try not to get yourself stuck with the bad people. It's not going to end well for you. You're going to get hurt. They're going to get hurt. Hang out with the nice folks if you can. Might not be as easy at first, but it'll be worth it. Okay, so some of the ridiculous things in this show. Number one, just the nurse. Okay, she's a big, blonde, stereotypical bimbo. Not a very nice reflection of a modern woman. She's ditzy, she can barely drive. Well, okay, she drives fine, but they gave her breasts sound effects. When her chest moves in the show, there is an audible jiggling. I can only hope that this was done to be ironic, because it just, I guess it's comic relief, but you'd also think those would make pretty big zombie targets for getting bitten. Another thing is the kids are all Olympic level gymnasts. They run around, they're spinning, slicing, dicing, dashing, stabbing, crushing, shooting. I don't know how they picked all this up. There's explanations for most of it, but I'm not certain that you can jump off of a flying jeep, spin through the air, do a backflip, and then end up braining 3 or 4 zombies by the time you hit the ground. That's just not something I can picture happening. And another thing that was weird is that the show, I guess, the time from when you get bitten to the time you become a zombie, not clear. I guess they did it for story purposes, but it just kind of comes off as random to me, which is okay. I just like having explanations for stuff. I mean, some people get bitten and they're a zombie within 20 seconds. Some people it takes minutes, hours. It's not too clear, but maybe some people have stronger constitutions. And the main character needs to learn to make decisions. Let's leave it at that. And I think episode 6 is the required hot springs episode that a lot of shows have. People act so out of character in it. There's just too much cheesecake. It gets distracting. So a summary of my thoughts on the show. It was entertaining, but it felt a little bit milked down by the focus on people's chests. It was a little bit excessive, if you ask me. The show had a lot of good action. If you can suspend disbelief about 17-year-olds doing backflips and braining zombies with baseball bats about 10 times a second, okay. The rest of the action was good. The logic in the show was fairly sound. Some of the homemade weapons and stuff would work as you'd expect them to, and people were fairly smart most of the time. I don't really see the cheesecake episode as being completely irrelevant, but yeah. So the show is about 12 episodes with 1 OVA. I haven't seen the OVA yet, but 12 episodes are pretty good. I mean, I'd probably watch it again, but the nice thing is they leave themselves open for maybe doing a second season. I can't guarantee that they would, but if they did, it would be pretty nice. I'd definitely watch it. I would see this. I mean, just keep in mind that it's going to be a little bit crazy, and your parents, if you want to show your parents some anime, don't show them this one. I mean, your dad's going to be staring at the girl's chest the whole time anyway. I want to thank you all very much for watching. This has been the first episode of Past Expiration. There will be more episodes, hopefully. I'm not certain exactly how this is going to go. Everyone, please, if you have any ideas, comments, send them my way. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. And I'll see you guys next time.